I call this Town of Adams Board of Selectmen meeting to order Wednesday, July 16, 2025. Can everyone please stand and join the Board of Selectmen in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
make the announcement about cameras.
Sure will. All right, so the announcements to begin the meeting, this meeting is being recorded. The Board of Selectmen meetings are recorded and televised live on Northern Berks Community Television, channel 1303. Anyone in the audience who has who wants to film this meeting, please let the chair know. It's okay to do so, but just let the chair know that you are going to be filming this meeting. Seeing none, thank you. All right, moving on to the agenda, approval of minutes from June 11th, 2025. This is for regular meeting. It's the board's pleasure.
I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes of June 11, 2025 and vote to approve them.
We have a motion by Ann. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
An abstention.
Four in agreement, one abstention. All right, public comment. Anyone in the audience who would like to address the Board of Selectmen, please come up, state your name. Carol, go ahead. Start us off.
So I just want to tell you that the public was coming up with the two film understood. Myra has filed all the things, so we were all good. But it's really important to do is school run by the Bush Learning Center, and Bush Learning Center has a foundation. And so all the proceeds that are falling beyond the cost will go for nonprofit in Adams, and the nonprofit that in total is Adams Fair, one of Joe Martin ones, because those proceeds go back to the city's current focus. So it's not a general effort. Mine is not here, but DNA is just a self-discovery. So it's starting to one officer. And then the start of the Civic Center, the start of the race to be on Center Street, but really counts as Good.
Good, thank you. Next, yes.
Just to be clear, I'm reading the letter for the record only. This does not constitute an endorsement of the local establishment measure. Dear Ms. Mesworth, good news, and permit me to explain. As a violin restorer, I have been teaching early master classes during the month of June since 1997 at MCLA. Since my courses start at 8 a.m., an early breakfast is essential. For several years, I have frequented the daily grind under the ownership of Benjamin and her recent Miss Becky Duprett. Since I do not eat onions, I have to place my order before 6 a.m. or before onions are added to my potatoes, etc. Both Benjamin and Becky went out of their way to help me with my special needs. Their friendliness, quick service, and professionalism had been noticed by me. Both deserve to be Citizens of the Year. Cordially, Hans J. Neville. He's a violin restorer. I received this letter last week, and I'm going to pass it on to Becky tomorrow. But I did want to read it today so that everybody can hear that this is great news. And it was sent to me, and I really didn't know what else to do, so I thought reading here tonight would be a good place to start. I'll move on to my next thing. I want to take a moment to thank the Street Fair Committee for setting up and organizing this year's Kensington Movie Street. There's a movie showing this week at the Visitor Center. The movie is Cat. And then next week, there'll be another Tuesday night concert. We've already had 2 Tuesday night concerts, and they've been very well attended. So I just wanted to bring mention of that. And then in August, there's going to be 4 more concerts that they plan, and then another movie. If anybody's looking for the full schedule, you can check it out on the town's website, or I'm sure you can find it on Facebook. And finally, just a quick note about the townwide tax sale. Currently, we have 37 participants. All participants must be registered by Friday, July 18th at noon. The tax sale will take place on Saturday, August 9th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Mayor time. Maps with all the locations will be available at least the week before, and we will certainly post this on the town's website, and it'll be available for all of our town buildings. So thank you for indulging me this evening.
Thank you. Just to mention that Tammy Daniels is in attendance, and I assume that you're going to be videotaping possibly the meeting. All right, next, who else would like to address the Board of Selectmen? Anything that's not on the agenda this evening? All right, everybody's good. Oh, sure.
So I have a couple of things. I know that you're going to, move up the consideration of the Rambo. Tonight, is that still going to happen?
That's on the agenda, yes.
Okay, we'll make you give a chance to speak on that after. I know you checked with town council. Do you want me to say, like I did last night, everything I have to say about it, or do you want me to wait until after?
I think you can wait till after the town administrator gives his presentation with all the information that goes with this.
Okay.
And if you have questions, the audience has any questions that they receive, will be fine.
Okay, and then my final thing, my other thing was that, you have an executive session scheduled for tonight?
The executive session, and else is doing, we have a lot of things tonight.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to address the board? Oh, yes, please, please come forward, state your name, your community, or your organization.
Hi, Kathy Bailey,
Mhm.
two things. One is a request.
I would really love it, and I know other people in town will love it, is you can get the first line of meetings posted sooner on the website, but even without the agendas, like just ahead of time, so people could don't already know when those meetings are taking place.
So I'm just curious, the law is 40 hours prior. And we'd like to see if folks do the agenda items, and I'm just trying to figure out.
Just so people can see that the schedule, if I'm not wrong, is generally first and third Wednesdays of the month.
That's correct, first and third Wednesdays.
You just put on there as a matter of course so that people could, we're going on your town calendar, might see what was going on a
So,
little more easily.
yeah. So what happens is the agenda is put together usually on Monday early. We submit it to the town clerk, who posts it by 5 o'clock, usually on Monday. So the agenda will be on Monday complete, Mondays at 5 o'clock. So for us to do any more than that, I think may cause some confusion when they open it up, there's nothing there. But we do have a town calendar.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah. Yeah, town calendar does identify that as soon as the agenda is submitted for posting, it's posted, the meeting goes on the calendar. But are you saying like for every Tuesday, or every first and third Wednesday, we should have it listed on the calendar ahead of time? Is that what you're trying to get at?
yeah, I think that would be great. I don't know how
Just curious.
your game works, but I think that things on my calendar for, once a month around. Or even maybe get an occasion outside that would work, that would be better ways.
Mhm.
I know what it is and how to look for it, I just thought.
Okay,
in terms of accessibility,
Sure.
and
all right, thank you for the input.
And my second thing is I sent a letter to all of you on April 16th via email regarding ethical concerns that I have brought to the board and not taken into consideration. And just to know that, I know that you said you'd like to look into them, so, and we're not on board at the time. So, and I brought a copy of that later. And I had asked for some response, and there's some pretty detailed examples of my concerns, and I have not heard anything from anybody. And I wonder when, how, and when hear back.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if you have a different opinion. But I think that if you have concerns, the best way is to, I should have done this yet. Reach out to the town administrator's office and request a meeting to explain the concerns that you have, and we can have the right individuals there to respond to your questions.
Who would be the right individual?
Well, it depends on what you submit, and I know you've already submitted an email, I don't remember it word for word, but set up a meeting with the town administrator through Bree, and then we'll look at the email, we'll see what the issues are, and we'll talk.
I have done that before,
Well,
but honestly,
well, oh yeah, we can do that.
it would have been great if somebody responded.
Yeah, sure.
Just to say that.
Okay, so we'll get that to him. You agree? Sure. Okay. All right. If you do, yeah. We have a through email, well, you can provide us to him if you want to.
Email some.
Okay, so we're good. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Moving on to the agenda. Number 5, old business, ratification of appointment of David Miller to the position of code enforcement officer. Ken?
Yes, you have in front of you an appointment memorandum, and should you choose to approve it, David will be hired at grade 9, step 3, at a rate of $27.92 per hour. Now, we've had this before, and have not sent to a formal appointment letter. I want to take you through where we are. As you know, David is a member of the ZBA and the Planning Board, Board of Health, the wiring inspector, and 2 of those positions are compensated, wiring inspector and Board of Health, and it's proposed that he be code enforcement officer. Now, I've spoken, I don't have a written opinion, but I have spoken independently to the Labor Council for the town and the General Counsel for the town, and they're separate, and they both told me the exact same thing. In the packet you should have, and I know you didn't get this till this afternoon, there's a letter from the attorney from the State Ethics Commission. And they both told me that Mr. Reinmiller would have to follow the instructions in that very carefully, and if he did so, he should avoid a conflict of interest. Now, there are 4, under the Ethics Commission laws, Chapter 268A of the Massachusetts General Laws, and under that section of law, there are 3 disclosures that need to be filed. One under Section 20C, that's typically filed with the town clerk. One under Section 20D, and that's usually approved by the select board, and then filed with the town clerk. And then under Section 19, if there's a particular matter that would affect his performance, then he would file that at that time. There's also, under the Massachusetts Code of Regulations, there's a disclosure to be filed to the Board of Selectmen in regard to his being wire inspector, planning board, and the ZBA. Now, I've gone through this as carefully as I can. It appears that he's filed a disclosure, but I can't say I'm absolutely sure that he's done all disclosures. But I want to say, what both counsel said to me, it's incumbent upon Mr. Reinmiller to do that. It's not the town's responsibility. He has to follow it carefully and file those disclosures.
Is Mr. Reinmiller here today?
Yeah. The building commissioner is here as well.
Can I just ask, was that information put in our mailboxes later today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have it. I heard run upstairs and go grab it.
Please.
Would you like me to grab yours? Thank you, Pam.
Haley, grab mine.
Thank you. just so I can follow along.
I apologize, I didn't get this to you.
That's okay. I'm familiar with 268A.
Dave, do you mind coming to the podium, please, and answer any of the board's questions? We don't have that information with us, it's on its way, but open it up to the board for questions. To Ken or to Dave.
So, I know I haven't been here when this has been discussed with the board, so my apologies for that. But I do know that, I did raise some concerns with the town administrator. Thank you. First off, Mr. Ryan Miller has stepped up to the plate to serve the town of Athens every time he has been asked, and he has served on multiple boards as, like, ZBA, the planning board, wire inspector, the board of health, everything that we would ask or that you've been interested in, you have certainly grateful for all the stuff too. Let me say that first. My question has been about serving on both the board of health and as the code enforcement officer, not the other positions. And I'm wondering if that has been clear, because my feeling is that, even with the disclosure to serve in both of those capacities, that it still puts the town at risk for if Mr. Ryan Miller, code enforcement, capacity were to issue any, fines or issue any, what's the word I'm looking for here? Violations, thank you, that's the word. And the individual wanted to appeal that decision, the appellate board for those violations and those fines would be the Board of Health. And at that point, I would assume Mr. Ryan Miller would then have to disclose, maybe even accuse himself, and that leaves a two-body member for a resident to be going in front of to hear their concerns and to hear their case before a decision is made. And I'm not sure that that's maybe the best scenario for
Admittedly, it's a very difficult scenario. The State Ethics Commission order did provide some guidance, and that's where Section 19 disclosure would come in.
Okay. Because I equate it to if a police officer were to issue tickets, they wouldn't necessarily be able to serve on the jury to to hear this person's case. And that's my only hesitation. It is not hesitation about you serving as a code enforcement officer. It's actually, I would wholeheartedly support your you taking on a code enforcement officer position, but stepping down from the Board of Health, which I know creates a vacancy, and you have to fill that as well. But that's really where I'm at, to be perfectly honest.
Address that, provided all the exemptions that file, the building is going to have a special one for the selectmen, involving trial of the town clerk. And that you end up with a team on the board, doing all the others. The guy would have to step down. Being on the board, and or have a good.
And no, and because I'm not familiar with the Board of Health's statutes and regulations and how those public hearings do take place, is it a 2/3 vote that is, well, it would have to be because you're a 3-person.
Right.
I was thinking like planning board has to have 4/5, and
Right.
that's where, sorry.
So because it's a three-member board, it only needs two to function.
Okay, so it would have to be a unanimous decision
Yes.
for all of those,
Yes.
with you recusing yourself.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Other board member questions?
Yeah, I want to echo what Christine just said. That was kind of my thought, and I'm a person that don't particularly like a person wearing too many caps in the community. That's something that I think makes this person overly, how can I put it, overly involved in too many things that go on in the community. And I too thank you for all you've done, but to me, there's a lot of intermixing with all of these boards you're on, regardless if they're elected or if they're a salary guy. Because when I look at them and see the boards that you serve on, there's a lot of interconnection with each of them, regardless, once again, if they're a paid position or if it's an elected position or appointed position. So I have reservations about this. Certainly, David, nothing against you. I've known you for a long, long time. You're an upright citizen, you do well, but wearing too many caps. I mean, I would have loved to stay on the Conservation Commission when I was elected to the Board of Selectmen, but I view it as a conflict of interest. So I stepped down from it. I wholeheartedly would have loved to stay on it because that's my passion. So, I just think there could end up being some conflict of interest that people could tug at the strings and bring them to the forefront with some validity. So I'm just going to stop right there with my thoughts.
Okay. Jay, Gary?
Not much more to add to that. I think it was my opinion as well as stated as far as the reservations is with the Board of Health and possible conflicts of interest. So I wasn't sure if there was any consideration on stepping off any of the boards in particular due to this. Or,
The state of the commission.
Yep.
Find out if I can do all of it,
Mhm.
and find out if I have all the appropriate paperwork,
Mhm.
say I can.
Okay.
And if something goes wrong with the statutes, I actually told them.
Mhm.
And they're worried if we vote up all of this.
Yep.
All the things I would do,
Okay.
which I accomplished all.
This one, right? Oh, that's all I have.
And do you have anything?
I have nothing. I generally agree with what everyone has been saying. It's a fine line that you'd be walking, and we have to protect the interests of the people too.
And I've managed to do it so far very comfortably with all the things that I do.
Oh, I know you do a lot, and that's not, I'm just saying with the Board of Health and being the code officer, so it's been stated, there's that fine line right there.
It is a fine line, but it would fall underneath a different category because it's the board of, if the code enforcement officer is employed by the Board of Health, which is not. Employed by me. So it's a different entity from all the towns. This town is very unusual in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you read all the Ethics Commission's response, they indicate that, yes, you can do all of this. Board of Selectmen needs to approve, well, the Board of Health member and code enforcement officer. The Board of Health and the code enforcement officer work together on enforcement of health codes and development of health-related regulations, programs, and procedures. To serve on the Board of Health, serve as a Board of Health member, and also as the code enforcement officer, you must satisfy the requirements of the exemption in, I believe that's probably chapter 20D. You must complete a disclosure, 20, to get approval from the Board of Selectmen and file this disclosure with the town clerk. So the board,
You should have a copy.
and you have done that.
I can't file with the town to be guys at the same.
Okay, but you have put it together?
That is in the package that,
Right.
just giving you, yes.
So all the other paperwork, all the other things that have been signed and filed with the town clerk's office, that's been filed. I think they're behind.
So if the board, let's say the board did decide, you've been around a long time, and I for everybody else, that you've done a lot for our community and stepped up when we need you. And if the board does decide that the Board of Health and code enforcement officer just doesn't work for us, are you still going to move forward as a code enforcement officer? We have to answer that, but I want to,
I would like to, I mean, I don't really want to give up anything.
Right.
Board of Health was something that needed to happen, it needed to be structured, which it wasn't. It will be for the future, hopefully. But, do you want me to step down from that? Is it for the website? I'll consider it.
Any other follow-ups here?
Just a question, was this looked at by KP Law more than just the Ethics Committee?
Well, the
Is there
ethics, they looked at the Ethics Commission opinion
Right,
and, as well as our labor council.
so, but our legal counsel hasn't.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Town council looked at it, the general counsel for the town, and KP Law looked at it, as well as our labor council, which is Miracle County.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Some of that, or the
Okay, anyone else from the board? All right, any questions from the audience? Any reason for questions? Go, yes, sir. Please come up, John. And stay close.
I don't have any questions, I just want to still like notice that allergies and COPD, so I don't know how far I can go. I don't question Mr. Norton's qualifications or anything on it. But what I do is, going beyond the board of health, you went to the zoning board, and you went to the planning board. And there's going to be situations where you're going to have multiple parties in the plan. Right? The zoning board, the planning board, can rely on him for advice. He's the chairman of both of them. He's also, in addition to providing advice, he's also going to be a jury. You know, what's going to happen when we have the multiple parties? You know, I think we're not stressing enough about what's going to happen with those people. Because there's a section in 268, 23, section 23, which talks about the perception of people. And it just, he shall not have in a manner which would cause a reasonable person that he is likely to act or fail to act as a result of kinship or possession or undue influence of any party or person. It's also paid by the prosecutor people on the advocate. And then he's got to act as an advisor to the planning board, to the board, to the zoning board. I don't, it's like you're asking him to walk on eggshells. I mean, how many of these forms are you going to look at in the file? And he misses one. I certainly thank him for all of his work that he's done. I mean, I was on the historical commission. I could not go on a planning commission. I finally forward. Unless I actually grew on the historical commission, which I did. About 6 of them, that's a lot. And even found me, we voted on the budgets for all of this. I mean, you could not probably. I mean, he certainly is a young one. He's not a hell of a lot. Taken on board, but I think this is the capacity to go to answer for problems going on down the road. And then it's a community bread. Having to be, but they may be placing him, you wouldn't realize that you have to with all those hats. If he slips up just once, you're gonna have people just waiting. You're right. And that's all I think. But I think you should look at that section 23 and read it. I mean, they do say in it, as long as you file all the forms and everything, you're covered. That doesn't cover you if somebody decides that. I don't think it is, that I'm still converted and stuff. That's all.
Thank you, John. Anyone else like to address the board? Yes.
I'm talking about the relationship between the zoning board, planning board, possibly the board of health. So there's another situation where when he's acting as a code enforcement inspector, let's say he comes and inspects my apartment and I'm not happy with his decision and I appeal it, and my appeal goes to the board of health. So if he has to reach, which of course he would because it's his decision I'm appealing, that leaves only 2 members. And if one member's not there, it's not a functioning board. And what's really wrong is right now, they only have a board of 2. So even including him, it's a board of 2. So if he has to recuse himself, there's no hearing. What do we do then? And I think the fact that it can happen needs to be considered. The Ethics Commission's advice was given based on the information that they received. And on the first page of their letter to him, maybe about 2/3 of the way down, talks about he is, I think, Board of Health member is a special municipal employee with a 1963 exemption as special municipal employees. However, unless you can show me minutes that show that just the Board of Health was designated as special employees, it's invalid because everything that I have says that that was a blanket designation. And that was when special municipal employees first were a recognized term. But the Ethics Commission said you cannot have a blanket designation. And at some point, it probably was in 1963, the town just made a blanket designation that all municipal employees, whether elected or appointed, are special municipal employees. And this is what I was saying 2 weeks ago. I really don't think that any of you people believe that because I've seen you designate particular positions since then as special municipal employees. So I think we can forget that he's a special municipal employee based on a 1963 era. 3 of his jobs are paid, and every one of them is done during the day, including the Board of Health. They meet at 4 o'clock. So when he's meeting with the Board of Health, where's that money coming from? Where's the hours coming from? I mean, there's not enough time in a week for him to work 35 hours on inspections, do whatever meetings and hearings he has to with the Board of Health, and do wiring inspections. I mean, $1,000 a month for wiring inspections, $250 a week, that's at least a few of them. So who's paying for all these jobs? How much are we really paying him? I have a question about ratification. So my understanding is that when he's appointed by somebody else in town hall, that the select board has 30 days to decide to whether or not they want to say, no, we don't approve this. And if you want to stop this sweating, you can say, we're going to ratify you. That way you don't have to spend the next 30 days or 28 days or 14 days worrying that we're going to say, no, you can't do this. But that's only 30 days. So when was he appointed? Do you even have the right to ratify him at this point? It's just kind of a strange question. And you folks are the only people. I mean, he's already made it clear that he doesn't want to give up any of these jobs. So I really think that even though our town administrator said that it's not incumbent on the town to do what's right, it's the employee, I think it's incumbent on you to do what feels right or feels wrong. I mean, if it feels wrong in some way, it probably is. But the Board of Health, especially right now, is very vulnerable. And really think that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Carol?
So really kind of fundamental question. Was Mr. Rhino the only applicant for this position?
There were 2 viable applicants.
building commissioner, I chose the first applicant, was respected in the community, and she drew the job.
Okay, all right, great, thanks.
All right, David, you want to come back up? Anything you'd like to respond to any of the questions that were asked?
Other than time situations, the code enforcement is 8 to 4. Planning boards are at night, 6 o'clock. Zoning boards are at night, 6 o'clock. Board of Health is 4 o'clock. Wire inspection jobs don't have to be done during the day, and they're not going to be. They're going to be done on Friday afternoons and weeknights.
Okay. All right, board, what is your pleasure? Anything else? Ken? You good to go? All right, discussion from the board and any decisions?
I'm just going to reiterate my statement from before. I think Mr. Reinmiller is more than qualified to serve as the code enforcement officer, and my only hesitation is the continued service on the Board of Health. As I understand that Mr. Reinmiller might be able to disclose his conflicts and, hopefully protect himself in those matters, but I'm not sure that it's protecting the town in the way that we're able to set up an appellate board to listen to our residents when they do have concerns about any violations or fines that come before them. So it's my discomfort with the ratification is not because of his qualifications, because God knows that he is more than qualified to serve in this role, and I think he would do a fantastic job and fantastic service for the town of Adams as our code enforcement officer. My only hesitation is the continued service on the Board of Health.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I'm gonna just reiterate that I don't think it's healthy for the community to have one individual holding so many positions that I feel are intertwined in some way. And, once again, I thought Mr. Cowley brought up a good point is, if there going to be any legal problem with this, if somebody comes forward and says, well, gee, this individual served on this, and that, So, the legal problem, and I think I like what Kathy Foster said is, if you don't think it's right, it's not what the ethics committee said. They give you the laws, but as an individual, if you don't think it right that someone in this community can hold so many positions, I don't think it's healthy.
Dave, can you go again, please? I have one more question for you. So everything's straight, but any action or whatever may happen here. So currently, you are a member of the Board of Health.
Correct.
There are currently 2 members, and we have another agenda item. We're going to be looking for another Board of Health member. So I'm feeling that maybe there could be a consensus, not sure, that if you were to step down from the Board of Health, that the board will possibly, a motion could be brought up that would vote you as the code enforcement officer with that caveat that you do step down from the Board of Health. What are your thoughts about that? Because I don't put a motion up there and we get a vote and you say, no, thank you.
I would entertain withdrawing from the Board of Health.
You would entertain. Okay, we'd have to have the motion. The motion would have to indicate the resignation that's required from the Board of Health for this position to be offered. It's I'm getting a consensus of few of you members. So, is there any motion or you need to have any action on this?
I would ratify the appointment of Dave Reinmiller as the code enforcement officer at a grade 9, step 3 rate of $27.92 per hour upon the condition that he resign from the Board of Health.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Jay. When would that have to be effective as, to get hired, be able to do background check and all that stuff, right? It takes about a week, 2 weeks, or? Yeah, to get somebody on board? Okay,
Appointment letters say to appoint on or about July 21st, so would we say that his resignation would be tendered by July 18th, which would be Friday
That would be fine.
of this week? July 21st, no.
July 21st is Monday. If the board chooses, I think the chair will tell us we have to have a meeting on next Wednesday. So this, we want to shotgun this, it can wait till next Wednesday. It looks like David's amenable to resigning from the Board of Health, and we can straighten out anything. We may have to change this section 20D disclosure a little bit now if David's going to resign from the Board of Health.
so the motion and a second, would you rather we wait a week and you have time to think about it? or-
I'm good.
You good?
And I would then my motion to say resignation prior to July 18th, 2025.
Okay, Jay, do you?
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, agree with it. We have a motion and a second on the floor, any discussion?
I just have one quick question. You said that there was 2 applicants, and one of the applicants decided that she did want to take a job. And how long was that job posted?
We originally, I can't remember exactly when we posted the job, but it was open until, we typically post it as open until filled. It may still be up there, I'm not sure, they might be able to tell us, I didn't look. This was up there for a long time. We've gotten some other applicants, but they weren't really viable. In fact, I just got one, must still be up there because I got one last week.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that Sarah was your, she was chosen, and I personally don't think she had a background to be doing that.
That's not part of the agenda, Joe.
Okay.
I do want to just say, I know that it takes a lot for somebody to take papers out and to get on a ballot and to get elected, and you did all of that to, put yourself on the Board of Health, and I do really appreciate it. And then an opportunity came around after an election and after you started serving on the Board of Health. And so I know that this is a unique situation, and I don't think it's anything you were really looking for. It kind of all fell together, and I just wanted to say thank you for taking papers out and getting elected, and sorry that
Giving an
my
effort.
motion is making you make a choice.
Giving an effort.
Yes, thank you for giving an effort, and quite frankly, thanks for giving it down. One of my favorite sayings from one of my mentors.
May I say what our Labor Council, Mayor McConnell said, he said, in my more than 20 years of serving as a Labor Council, I've never seen such an interested public citizen.
Right? I know.
All right, any final discussion on the motion?
I guess my other question is,
Yes.
Can we do this? Is this a motion we can put forward to ask someone to step down off the board or to get a town
It's up to
position?
you.
Yeah.
If I don't file by the 18th, I think it goes all null.
We'll have to go back out and find somebody to be code enforcement officer.
That leaves you with an unknown on the Board of Health.
Understood.
Yeah.
I'm willing to
So
take,
nothing's
on that.
gonna happen.
I know.
Well, and prior to this meeting, let's make an announcement, let people know that we're really in need of people on the Board of Health.
It's on the agenda.
With the Board of Health, even though it was only 3 meetings, was turn the Board of Health into a 5-member board instead of a 3-member board, because it's the only board in Adams that is a 3-member board. Everybody else is 5.
Even cemetery?
I don't know about the cemetery. I'm correct.
It's like you tried to challenge me.
Any further discussion on the motion to endorse the selection of Dave Ranmo to the position of code enforcement officer as long as he resigns from the Board of Health by the end of this week? All right, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All in favor? All right, thank you, Dave. Okay, new business, licensing. Pursuing the use request for St. John Paul II Parish to use Bow Field on September 7th from 8 until 7 p.m. for the annual Polish picnic. If you don't mind coming in. We have a representative. Could you state your name?
So my name is Rachel Humphreys. I'm the chairperson for the annual Polish picnic. As you probably have heard, we are not able to use the Blanca grounds at this time. We have to take down the pavilion. We have to reinforce the fence, and there's something with the water main. We were hoping to have a picnic there, but today is like the middle of July, and they haven't started the work yet. So we were looking for a different venue, and we were hoping to use Bow Field. I'm hoping I can look at the facility beforehand, because it's definitely, as being the chairperson, it's the unknown. I'm nervous about it, because I'm not familiar with the grounds, but I do know that there is a circus at the end of this month, so I'll definitely go there to see what is there. A question I have is, I know there's bathrooms there, we usually do rent porta potties, so I'm not sure what amenities are in, what I can do, the Polish can use. Do I need to get more porta potties?
I think the best route is to reach out to the town administrator.
Okay.
And then you could work with Tim Coda, our DPW person, and go to the site. And then you can walk around and see what you need to make this successful.
So the Polish picnic will be September 7th. We do have the Eddie Foreman Orchestra, who has been performing the past few years, and we'll have Polish and American food. Basically, everything's going to be the same, just at a different, venue. There will be children's game, and we do consider it a family event.
As we mentioned, the parishes have decided to take down the pavilion at Mill Street. They're working towards doing that. Also, the flood control chute, there's a fence along the top of the flood control chute on that field, and there's a contractor that's going to reinforce that fence. So there is work being done at the Mill Street field. The parish is going to continue to use that field.
What was actually going back is
Yes. That's the one. All right, any questions from the board?
Just out of curiosity, what's wrong with the water?
I don't, there's something with the water line, unless someone else, they have to do something to the water line. I don't know the details of that.
And when you're serving food, you need to have hot water, so you have to check. I was really familiar with the fair, I was with it for a long time, and there was a hot water heater put in, but that was some time ago.
Are you talking about Bow Field?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm assuming there's water at Bow Field. I was talking about Blanca had a water issue.
No, I'm talking about we're going to be serving food. I think we need to have hot water, that's what I remember when we were, there was a fair when vendors came in, that you had to have hot water.
Yeah, so Dave Nicholas is helping us with the food again, so he comes with his food truck, and he has the propane, and he has all of the equipment.
Okay, so he's got a food truck.
It's a trailer.
So you won't be doing any cooking like you normally have in the past? Or,
He does, he's been doing all of the cooking.
Oh, okay.
We just.
because I remember years ago, they used to have a grill there and foot
Oh.
campers, okay.
No,
That's
no.
hooked up, so it's all catered.
It's all cable,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah. We do use the kitchen at Blanca, but it's for plugging in electrical
Right,
source.
yeah,
So there's no cooking that goes on
Okay.
at Blanca right now.
that's good.
Okay, anyone else from the board, any questions? We have three license requests for this event. What is the board's pleasure?
Can I do the top thing whole as a one? I ask that we approve the use of our facility for St. John's the Second Parish to use Bow Field on September 7th from 8 until 7 for the annual Polish picnic. And also approve the one-day liquor license application for St. John Paul II Parish to serve at Bow Field on September 7th, 2025, from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. for the annual Polish picnic. Approve the Sunday entertainment license for music at Bow Field on Sunday, September 7th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the annual Polish picnic. And last, to approve and review and approve the one, oh, I'm sorry.
That's not me.
That's it, no, that's not accurate. Thank you.
That's good. Good through. All right, we have a motion on the floor. Man, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jay. Any final discussion?
I'd just like to say something. I'd like to thank the town for helping the St. Stan's School for their class
Feel that.
field day. With our help, they were able to use Beaver Bar or Valley Street field, and they said it worked out fine for them. So
It's good. We all need to continue to work together in out of that, sir. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous decision. Thank you. Okay, next, still in the new business, we have item B. Updates on status of assessment.
Now, we have gotta go back to my mistake.
Yep. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, going back to A4. Review and approve one-day liquor license application for the Bounty Fair to serve at the Adams Theater, 27 Park Street, Adams, Mass. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day liquor license application for the Bounty Fair to serve at the Adams Theater, 27 Park Street, Adams, Mass. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Motion by Ann, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jay, any final discussion?
yes, I keep on saying this to the people of Adams. I hope you find it within yourself to go to one of the shows at the theater, and I think you'll be quite satisfied.
Good? Anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none,
One abstention.
one abstention. 4 in favor, 1 abstention. All right, now, moving on to new business item B, updates on status of accessibility lift at the Registry of Deeds building and status of FEMA grant for Jordan Street Culvert project. Ken?
Okay, you'll see in your packet a letter from the building commissioner. He's still here. Despite what it said in the report, the lift is operational, but we can't operate it until the state inspects it, and the state has not inspected it, so it's got a out-of-use sticker on it. Is that correct, Jerry?
Jerry, can you grab the podium, please? Just want to get a little more specific on that. Building inspector, Jerry, Hammer. So,
Making an entrance.
I'll let guys do this more.
it works, but the state hasn't approved it. So what, do you have a time frame? Is the state giving us one? How does that process work?
That elevator, well, as you know, I'm gonna go back here, okay? We had Otis Elevator, that was our elevator contractor for all our elevators. We had a problem with our lifts, and at that time, we were just finishing installing the lift over at the Registry of Deeds. The lift over at Renfrew Park hadn't worked in years, due to a part that was missing. Suddenly that turned into a disaster, and they were gonna charge us like $6,000 to fix it or whatever, so it was not feasible. So anyways, I got Mac Elevator employed and got rid of Otis. And Mac went over and fixed the elevator at Renfrew for free, because they said it was a $35 part and they weren't gonna charge us except for the $35. And they were trying to charge us $4,000. So at that time, I said, can you get the elevator inspector to come and inspect that one, the lift at the Registry of Deeds, and the library all at the same time, because the library had timed out for their elevator. So, not unlike all the communities around here and other state agencies, there's no inspectors. And everybody's retiring, no one's replacing them. So the inspector went and did the library, then he went to Renfrew, so we got those two done, but he did not have time to go over to the Registry of Deeds because he had to go to Greenfield. So at that time, we had to hire him again to see if he would come, and the state said that they could only do it on overtime. I said, I don't care, let's get this thing done. In the meantime, someone had leaned onto the elevator and broke the door.
So now I had to put it off again. We had to repair the door. I had Mac Elevator come in, and Mac Elevator generally doesn't do lifts. That's the other thing. They're doing this as a favor to us because we give them so much business. They came over, they spent the day here, they fixed the door, they fixed the lift, so that they adjusted it and everything, and it works perfectly. And I said, so now when can we get this inspected? And they said, well, we're hoping by February.
Oh, jeez.
That was last year. So since then, we've been waiting for the state to respond that they're sending an inspector to inspect this so we get this thing moving, because they got a lockout tagout on it. And until we get this state inspector there, my hands are tied. And unfortunately, the way the state elevator board operates, I dare not say anything. I'm letting Mac Elevator handle the whole thing. Because if I say something, we may not see it for another year. The gentleman that's coming to inspect now is a retiree. They rehired him. There's 2 rehires in that department, and he's doing whatever he can to keep things going, but I have no clue. We put another call into him last week, asked him what the status was, and they said they have no status so far. So that's where we're at. I'm on my knees to them.
So the registry of deeds building, we own it, the town. However, the registry of deeds is really a state function.
Correct.
Right? So you're saying there's nothing we can do, or is there, I don't know, there's always something we can do.
There are certain agencies that you have to be careful with on a state level.
Even though it's their operation.
Yes. So hopefully I have Jack from Mac Elevator working on trying to get them here again. He's gonna push it, but I don't know when. I'm being dead honest with you. Jack doesn't know, I don't know, no one knows. And this has been going on a long time. But once they start inspecting us, then it's gonna be a regular schedule. But so far, I have no clue what's going on there. I don't know. They just don't have enough inspectors.
Okay, I'll open it to the board for questions.
I would suggest, if it's a state agency that's doing it, that someone contact our state rep and our state senator and say, hey, look, let's get somebody down here, because that building is important for access to people. And we put a lot of money in there, have gone that route yet.
I don't think I make the paycheck to make that decision to talk to somebody like that, because like I said, I know how that board operates, and I'm not gonna rock the boat. I want them to show up sooner than later.
I don't know, if they don't give you a solid date that when they're gonna come, I mean, how can it hurt not to call our state rep or something? If you're having trouble with it, there's so few within the state of Massachusetts, it must be a hodgepodge. I mean, it has to be like so many other communities of size and of rurality that, you know, if they don't have enough, maybe they ought to do something and try to get some more people on board.
I don't disagree with that.
Anyone else? So Ken, could you work with Jerry and let's have a meeting where we can determine if we can make some phone calls to make it happen.
Be glad to.
All right, just let me know when the meeting is. All right, Jerry, we can, 3 of us will be.
I think we did good on our accessibility report too, by the way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So,
their organization that we're trying to help.
right.
So, okay,
Thank you.
we'll take care of it. Or at least we'll, okay. Okay, the other half of this was the Jordan Street Culvert Project. Ken, replacement, sir.
You'll see a very nice memorandum and recapitulation of the finances of the project done for me by Donna Season. The design is 100% complete. The town has expended over $380,000 for the project. We're going to wait, we'll get 75% of that back. We're waiting now for FEMA and MEMA to approve the design plan, so we go out to bid. Donna feels fully confident that the culvert can be built both on the bidding phase and the construction phase in 2026. And it will be done when Miller Brook is at low water.
Now, is that in alignment with, we had the public meeting here, I remember. Were you here when we did that?
No.
I think so.
That's before your time?
You've been here a while, but not that long.
So, anyways, they had a public meeting, the public had their opinions to the engineers, and I saw the plans, and whoever was there saw the plans. So I assume is there a new set of plans that we need to have a public meeting? We can ask about that, but.
Yeah, not that I know of, they've been submitted. So
They've been submitted.
yes, they've been submitted and they've been approved.
All right, questions from the board, comments? Okay.
I just have one question. I brought up these two issues that we just haven't alluded to. Now, FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and that's under the federal government. And I know they pulled some strings on North Adams for the flood chutes. They pulled some other project in North Adams where they had some flooding. And so until you get a solid from Massachusetts, that's the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. So are they working together, or is NEMA overseeing this whole project, which would be the state?
They were, to my knowledge, I don't know about this particular project, but from my past experience, FEMA and NEMA work together, it's a little easier to work with the state agency.
Right.
And they typically influence the federal agency.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so the feds are on with this?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I know. Did we get a solid yes that they are, or are we gonna get a letter down the road saying, well, your project, it doesn't meet the standards?
To the best of my knowledge, this has all been approved, and 75% of the $380,000 that has been spent will be coming back to us. And I forget what the ratio is between NEMA and FEMA, but it's mostly federal money.
Great.
Any other comments, questions from the board? Anyone from the audience? Okay. All right. Moving on. This is new business, item C, update on final local aid totals for the town from the recently enacted state budget.
I want to thank Finance Director Ashley Sadko for digging out the latest information from the Division of Local Services of the Department of Revenue. You can see it in your packet. I'll just give you the thumbnail sketch. The town's general state aid is declining by $33,000, and that's mostly in the unrestricted aid portion. There's a little bit of a decline in the portion for veterans, but that's usually based on the head count of veterans. Hoosick Valley Regional School District, she didn't get McCann's, and there's probably numbers from McCann's as well, but the Hoosick Valley Regional School District they're going to get $19,000 more than the anticipated. It looks mainly because of the swing in tuition reimbursements for charter schools.
Could you explain unrestricted aid to the audience, please?
Yes, the unrestricted aid is aid that the town can use for any particular purpose. Not for the library, it's not for veterans, or for some of the other categories that there are. It's unrestricted aid.
And where does that go in the budget when received?
It's usually called out as a revenue, town revenue.
It's revenue,
It's
yes.
part of the revenues,
Okay.
non-tax revenues.
Okay, so in the end, we're still going to be short. What was the number again?
$33,000.
Okay.
Yes. Remember, we'll be setting the tax rate in the fall. It may cause a couple of cents change in the tax rate.
What does it, what's,
Anticipated.
okay, what's the impact on the budget that we approved, the town meeting approved also, of $33,000 that we're not going to receive? And answer best you can. I know we haven't talked about it or anything with the board.
No, and we haven't analyzed it fully, but remember when we set the tax rate in the fall, we'll be doing the tax rate recap, and we'll be looking once more at anticipated revenues and expenses, including state aid. $33,000 less probably will result in several cents on the tax rate. So I think we projected 1701, maybe it's going to be 1704.
Oh, I see, so we need to raise.
Yes. Tax rate, yes, the tax rate's gonna rise a little bit because we have less state aid, because it's revenue minus expenses, including taxes and state aid and other source revenues.
Make up that $33,000 shortfall.
Yes.
Okay. Questions from the board? And the governor did recently sign the final budget, and this is the result of that.
Also, with the signing of the budget, I mean, this is a little away from the cherry sheet, but chapter 90, where he's only good for 1 year. And so that's going to change.
Anything else? Sure.
I noticed in the packet that you also have a printout for Hoosick Valley Regional School. I can't tell if that's changed. If they've lost money, does that also affect the town?
No, their budget's already been set for them. They have to make it up somewhere else.
Okay.
But they got $20,000 more, so we're not gonna ask this for everything.
Good. I believe we are at number 7, announcements, and we have 2. There has been a resignation from the Board of Health. The town would like to appoint an individual with medical and/or public health background, and that now it is most likely 2 members. If interested, contact the town administrator's office. These individuals, if everything goes through as discussed this evening, both the Board of Health and the Selectmen will choose the members of the Board of Health until the next election, I believe. So I think we've done it a couple times in the past, and we had both boards here, and we just went around the tables and said, this person's good, and we voted them in for the openings. So we are in urgent need of Board of Health members. Please reach out to the town administrator if you are interested. Okay. And the final announcement is the Northern Berkshire Solid Waste Management District 17th Annual Adams Spring Cleaning Bulky Waste Collection Event raised $2,020, which has been donated to the Town of Adams Scholarship Fund. Thank you for all who participated. I think everybody's familiar in June, the Northern Berkshire Solid Waste Management District up at the old landfill does a collection, and those funds are transferred to the town for the scholarship. This year was a little bit lower than usual, but thank you for all those involved. And next year, if you have the time, please volunteer to help out so that we can get the word out. We'll talk about this again and try to raise that the amount so we get it back on the other direction as it is for the kids. Okay. And that's all we have. Oh, in the executive session, per town council, I was directed not to have the executive session this evening. It may come up next Wednesday, and the board, we do need to meet next Wednesday. There will be a meeting next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, correct?
Yes.
May I add something, please?
If it's not on the agenda, it's hard to, unless it's part of the agenda.
Well, it should be on the agenda.
Then we can't talk about it, Joe, 'cause we've been written up on this. That's the only reason why I say it.
Let me just stop you there. I was told if you get agenda items in at a certain time, you set the agenda. I got this item well before the time that it was set. And I didn't get any response on 2 things that I asked. So you set the agenda, Mr. Duval. You brought that to me a number of times. So apparently you don't want these on the agenda, and I think it's important for the people of Adams to know.
All right, so Member Novak, that is not the case, as you know. I put on the agenda any item that's provided to me. Now, if it was in an email and it didn't make it on, it will be on next Wednesday's agenda. I don't hold back anything from any agendas, and I will have those 2 items next Wednesday. But people in town, I've heard it several times that the chair doesn't let Mr. Novak speak, but if we brought those 2 agenda items up tonight, then I would be turned into the Ethics Commission, and the board would be slapped on the hand again, maybe even worse. So that's the reason, people of town, that we cannot talk about these items, because they are not on the agenda. For whatever reason it is, if we oversight or whatever it may be, we cannot talk on any item that is not on this agenda, or it will be sent to the Ethics Commission, we will be turned in, and we will have to pay the price. So I, as a chair, cannot have anyone talk about anything that is not on the agenda to keep us out of trouble. Now, if you have 2 items that you sent to us that didn't make it on this agenda, we're meeting next Wednesday, they will definitely be on next Wednesday. I'll put anything on you want to.
Well,
All right, so we can't
no,
talk
but
about
let me
it.
just say
We
this.
just
then.
can't talk.
Let me just say this, what good is bringing something well before the upcoming meeting when you're told right at the bottom of our agendas, make sure we get it in a timely fashion.
Because
I
someone,
handed it to Mr. Walto and a circulating copy to you.
right,
So you know what I'm alluding to, so why wasn't it on the agenda?
all right, so some items do take a little time to look at.
Okay,
All right, but again, whatever the reason may be, there's 2 on the agenda that you asked for. The 2 out of the 4 items are there. So the other 2 we may have, they've been oversight, but we'll definitely get to them next Wednesday.
okay.
Okay, all right, sometimes they take time, all right? All right. Last we have on the agenda is to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second? Yes, ma'am? Doing this. Yes,
Someone wants to speak.
what, in regards to,
The
in this,
announcement 7A, prior to that, you asked me to go over things, does anyone in the audience have anything to say? But you didn't ask if anyone in the audience had anything to say when you made the announcement. I don't know, maybe there was, it's not fit for that, for the 7A, or for the oversight. I'm just asking, because if it is acceptable to ask a question or add something, okay, if not, I understand.
okay, if you're available next Wednesday, if you want to bring it up, if it's not on the agenda, if you could bring it up during public comment then, we'll be happy to hear what your concerns are. We already went by that. Instead of going back, we can do it next Wednesday. And listen.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Hines is referring to item 7A, and as a member, is the only member of the Board of Health. Maybe it would be nice to hear from Ms. Hines.
Pretty please?
Pretty please.
Sure. I apologize for not seeing you back there. Yeah, come on up. I didn't see you waving hands.
Yeah, I was being polite.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's just a simple question. You did say that anyone that's interested in wanting to be on the Board of Health, the person will be quote, interviewed or, met with by both the Board of Health and the Selectmen. Did I hear correctly or not?
That's true.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have input on that.
Yes, you will.
Thank you
You'll be
very
part- You'll be
much.
part of that meeting. Same, all of us will be together.
Okay, I just want to make sure, 'cause that's important.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for continuing to serve. I think you get all of the roles right now.
You make all the decisions.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion, do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.